All right, Rob, let's get into it. We mentioned the Clippers playing the Lakers tonight at the Staples. Well, no. Crypto.com arena is it now? And the news right now, other than this is the Clippers opener, is that Kawhi Leonard, Rob, who got injured like 15 months ago. Chris Haynes, friend of the show, sideline reporter for TNT, he reported that the Clippers are considering bringing Kawhi off the bench for his health. There's somewhat of a minutes restriction, although he didn't use those words. And then Stephanie Reddy, Rob, was just on TNT. She's, I guess, doing sidelines tonight. She was talking to some of the Clippers officials, and they said they're trying to get away from the term minutes restriction, which I don't know. I don't get what the big deal is.
I think they just don't want it to feel like, he's gimpy. Oh, here we go.
Well, if he don't start, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hear him, and I have an answer for that. But anyway, she ultimately, Rob, she said they didn't give her an answer one way or the other as to whether or not he's starting. I would say this. If I were the Clippers, and clearly, Rob, because they haven't shot down this report, so clearly he is not, like, yet 100%. I mean, he's good enough to play. He's obviously been cleared to play. But whether it's just straight up precaution, and we hope that is, as basketball fans, we hope it's just precaution. But whatever the case, he's not like full bore, go out there and play and with no worries. And if I were the Clippers in that situation, Rob, here's what I would do. To just keep it from being, at least for a little while, as long as I could, keep it from becoming big news, I would just start him. And we would restrict him. You know, he might play 25 minutes or whatever it is. The Warriors, Rob, Klay Thompson, now they announced it. Klay only played 20. Dre played 25. Steph only played 23. But, you know, like, they have enough depth with the Clippers where they can play a ton of guys, Rob, and just be like, you know, we just getting guys used to playing. And you know what I mean? Like, don't even make it. I wouldn't even make it look like he's on a minutes restriction. We're just bringing him back and playing him, he hadn't played in a year. So we just, you know, I think you could do that. But now it's news and now it's a big deal. And that doesn't mean it's got to become, you know, a distraction to the team, but it's something that people have to talk about. Yeah. Like, wow, is Kawhi back or not?
Yeah, I think people want to see him. And once they see him a little bit and get a feel for him and see how he goes about it, I think that'll be the way people will be able to, you know, see where he is, you know, and if
he's going to play well, I'm sure, when he's in. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you want to see him.
But people want to just see him is what I'm saying. Like there comes that point where you just want to see him play and maybe not be, you know, going half-stepping. They just want to see him play, I think. You want to see it for yourself. And I think that's a big thing. But I'm going to say this is even bigger. As we get into the NBA season, Chris, and we're two games in, right? 2 days in or whatever you want to call it. And now the Clippers are playing their first game, and there's a lot of expectations with the Clippers. Chris, I think their roster is loaded. I love that team. I love the John Wall addition. He has something to play for. Ty Lue over the last couple of years, to me, have solidified himself to me as a really good coach, and maybe some people questioned it before. Well, he had LeBron James. If you have LeBron James, how can't you win? You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Right.
But we saw them go to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in franchise history without Kawhi Leonard. He made moves, Chris, that we hadn't seen. But I'm going to tell you the bigger thing there is that I believe Kawhi Leonard needs to win a championship with the Clippers. And I know he's won 2, Chris, and I know he's won with 2 franchises. He's won 2 finals MVPs. But the whole move to, like, going to the Clippers and all the stuff that's happened since, you know, the load management and all these other things, if he can be healthy and lead this team to a championship, I think it will be, you know, he's kind of been out of sight, out of mind. I think he propels himself back into what people thought he was when he came to L.A. People don't talk about him anymore because he's been hurt more than he's played, and he hasn't had the success that he had. We remember against, what was that, Denver? Was that when they lost to Denver?
They got beat. They were up 3-1.
3-1. I mean, a choke job. And he had a terrible Game 7.
I was stunned to see that.
Am I right? Terrible, Chris.
Rob, he was in the discussion for best player in the world.
That's what I'm saying. He was there, and then he fell off.
I was shocked because he had been so strong in the postseason. And I never expected that, especially against Denver. And no insult to them, but that wasn't like a great team,
No.
So I hear you.
And if he does win, I'll say one little caveat and let you go. If he does win, Chris, it would be, to me, even more impressive than LeBron James winning with 3 different franchises, only from the standpoint of this.
You're saying that because Kawhi would now have won.
Right, with 3 different. And then when you look at the teams, him winning in Cleveland, big. The Lakers had a winning history even before, even though they had stumbled lately. But for Kawhi to go to 2 franchises that had never won a championship after leaving the Spurs, Toronto he won with, and if he's able to win with the Clippers, I think that would be impressive. I shouldn't say, especially the Clippers, a doormat of the NBA for so long.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go as far as say it was more impressive than LeBron's. One of Kawhi's championships, he was not even a star.
You mean the one who was the Finals MVP?
Yeah, that one. He averaged 12 points a game that year.
Okay.
So he was not yet a star.
Is it only about points when you talk about
period? He didn't make the All-Star team. He wasn't a star.
So
I mean,
why
that's
was
not
he,
even
Kawhi
wouldn't deny that.
Why do you think he was the Finals MVP?
I think he did a good job in those finals, and I think it could have went to anybody, Tony Parker. And I'm not taking it away from him. That's fine. He was Finals MVP.
Yeah, I'm just asking.
That doesn't make you a star.
I'm just asking.
I'm just telling you. Andre Iguodala's not a star. Cornbread Maxwell wasn't a star. There have been guys who aren't stars who were Finals MVP. So look, I'm not taking that trophy and individual achievement away from him. I have no problem with him winning that Finals MVP award. But the fact is he was not a star that season for the Spurs. So that's what I'm saying. So you're really, that if you're comparing them to LeBron's championships, I mean, LeBron obviously was the star of each team that won championships. Certainly it was a super team in Miami. There's no question. You and I have talked about that. 2 out of 4 was probably what most people would view as an underachievement.
No doubt. No, people would say you won 2 championships, right?
There.
But no,
right. But he did get 2. Like Kawhi has not won 2 with the franchise. Cleveland obviously was huge. The Clippers in Toronto. Toronto was huge for Kawhi. I mean,
because they couldn't get over the hump.
And if you want to nitpick, I mean, you could say, Durant was hurt. But, when you compare these, so I can't go as far as to say they were more impressive. If he wins it this year with the Clippers, it'll be wildly impressive because, as you said, it's another team without a championship. But it's also a stacked team, to your point. And that doesn't take it away from him. But it's just, I can't necessarily put it ahead of LeBron's rings. But that's a good question, Rob. Let's throw that out.